All right, y'all. Won't lie. I'm pretty disappointed with the effort tonight from this Bull squad, especially defensively. But with that being said, I do think that there's some stuff this Bulls team can definitely take away from this game that we can use as information to learn from to get better moving forward from this game. So I'm gonna be pointing out a couple of things that I think are some important aspects that the Bulls need to kind of look at to kind of fix some stuff, especially when it comes to the defensive end. There needs to be some cleanup when it comes to the Bulls defensive level. So this is a little bit disappointing because I said last stream that I wasn't necessarily like expecting a win tonight from this Bull squad, but I was hoping to see like pretty good effort tonight. And unfortunately, I don't think we really got the good effort tonight. It's really frustrating to kind of see that this Bulls team defensively just did not come out of the gate looking to play good defense. It's not just the three-point shooting that the Knicks were able to get, and yes, the Knicks, hit 23s and like they were shooting a much better percentage than what's listed here, but it's just an overall effort to prevent guys from driving, like blowing right by you, but then also to have the actual effort to get the defensive rebound. I think a reason why the Knicks destroyed us in terms of three-point shooting is because the Knicks got the offensive rebound, and offensive rebounds lead to wide open three-point shots. And there were multiple times tonight that the Knicks got the offensive rebound, and sometimes it was inexplicably how they got it, and it led to a wide open three for the New York Knicks. So it's not necessarily always that the Bulls weren't, playing good three-point defense or bad three-point defense throughout the game. It was just that you didn't close out a possession, and it leads to second chance opportunities for this Knicks squad, who are just too good to give second chance opportunities to. So it's unfortunate to see this. I think the effort could have been better tonight. But hopefully this Bulls team will learn, and we will be on our way to seeing better overall effort in the next game for the Chicago Bulls, as we are taking on another Eastern Conference foe in the East. So we'll see, man. Before we get into it all, make sure to like button the stream. I appreciate all the support when it comes to Bulls content this season. I sincerely do appreciate it all. Thank you guys so much for supporting the streams, and thank you for enjoying my content. I sincerely do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel like Bulls content, please subscribe. We're gonna be talking about a couple of positive things in this one. I want to talk about Giddey continuing to play really well. That is a really good sign. But we also need to do some film breakdown on some negative stuff tonight, unfortunately, as obviously this is the Bulls' first L of the season. But with this still being the first L, I want this to be clear. Like, it's an L tonight, and I think, a lot of Bulls fans are probably disappointed with the level of effort tonight, but I did not think this was going to be the first L for the Bulls, right, this season. So I do want to put that positive light on this being the first L. And I know it sucks that tonight's the L, but I did not have the Bulls losing their first game in November. I thought they would definitely be losing in October, but they didn't. So to see the Bulls lose their first game in November is honestly a really good sign. So good job by the crew beforehand. Now, with this L tonight, we have to talk about a couple things that were killing the Bulls early on. But I do want to start with the positives, though. So we're going to start positively, and then we're going to work towards the negatives here as we get into this game. So again, before we get into it all, make sure to like button the stream. Thank you guys so much for supporting the streams throughout the season. I sincerely do appreciate it. What's going on, Charles? Amongst the bad patches, I'm pleased they clawed back towards the end and fought that out. I am also happy to see that they fought it out. I do think it was over, no matter what, honestly. I mean, I guess there was a chance that the Bulls just kind of hit some threes there, but I'm overall happy that Donovan tried to keep him out there just to see what would happen, because this Bulls team can't score in the flurry. But the defensive effort just was too poor tonight, man. I don't know if really we had a chance. Definitely sucked having to put Carter, etc., in with Io missing. Bulls really missed Io tonight. And it's not necessarily just about his scoring. Like, the dude's averaging 16 points per game to start the season, but the Bulls really missed Io early in this game defensively. And yeah, I don't know if Io necessarily has been like the best defender on this Bulls roster right now, but we saw early on that Kevin Huerter got into foul trouble, and he was kind of being like the second guy to guard Jalen Brunson tonight, which is, as good as Huerter's been defensively to start the season. That's a tough ask. Like, I don't really expect Kevin Huerter to try to find a way to guard Jalen Brunson effectively. And so just having Io out there, like, maybe he's not necessarily going to stop Jalen Brunson, right? But just to have him out there, just to put another body onto him, a guy with a lengthy wingspan that I know can sort of keep up with Brunson, And I think honestly, Io's done a really hell of a job on some of these guards to start the season, but I understand maybe he's not like what Trey Jones has done this season, but like I do think Io was sorely missed defensively just to put another guy on Brunson. And you could tell early on the Bulls were struggling because Brunson got going early in that first quarter and it went through the whole first quarter. So Brunson got it going early against Trey Jones, but then we didn't have someone else to throw out there when Trey Jones came out of the game. And I was honestly thinking that Billy Donovan was going to go and put in Dalen Terry for this game just to see if he can like get some minutes on the Jalen Brunson, but he decided against it, which I don't blame him for. So I guess the idea tonight was to have Kevin Huerter take some minutes on him, a little bit of a Okoro as well. Huerter had some struggles early on. He picked up some cheap fouls that were just completely unnecessary by him. Had 3 fouls at the end of the first quarter, so he had to sit out in the entire first half after that. And so you could just tell how much the Bulls missed Io. Like, it was very evident that the Bulls were missing Io, not just offensively, but defensively tonight. Obviously on offense, Io pushes tempo, but he is one of the guys right now currently on the squad that are best at attacking the paint from the perimeter. And so to see the Bulls really missing that was kind of like eye-opening because like Io's 3-point shooting has been really good to start the season, so teams have been like a little bit worried about him. And so not having that guy out there to drive it effectively was definitely hurting the Bulls. We got some extended Okoro minutes because of it, and now don't get me wrong, I think Okoro's in the positive category tonight, but I do think though with Okoro, like he's still pretty limited offensively because he's not able to put the ball on the floor effectively to get his buckets. So not having Io tonight was definitely hurtful on both ends of the floor, and it definitely was showing tonight. So it sucks that I had to miss this one. He's out with the quad injury. I hope it's not serious, but I'm just gonna assume that he took a knee to the quad and it's just, you know, being precautionary about it, which that's fine. I don't blame him for it, but he was missed on both ends of the floor tonight. I think this could have easily been a win for the Bulls. I think it definitely would have been closer. First and foremost, the bench would have been better tonight. I'm not here to say that if Io was here that this is a win. Like, it could have been a win tonight, but the Bulls bench got outscored tonight. Jordan Clarkson was killing us in some aspects, right? And, you know, McBride hit some shots. And so the Bulls bench getting outscored has been something that has not been consistent to start the season, right? The Bulls bench is usually outscoring the opponent. So to see Io, you know, just in all aspects just being missed was pretty tough to see. I agree, Bulls lacking gen. The Bulls fouled too much and gave out too many threes that ended up being the difference. So I think, yeah, the threes were the biggest difference tonight. And it was way too many threes, and there were definitely some open looks that were just unacceptable by the Bulls tonight. So yeah, 3-point shot from the Knicks was, I think, the biggest issue tonight. I don't think that's really the biggest like thing or biggest shocker when we look at just the box score if you just watch the game. But I'm pretty pissed off right now about the Bulls' defensive rebounding in this game. The Bulls have been pretty solid defensively in terms of rebounding heading into this game. Like, I think they were ranked 4th. And, you know, even from last season, this Bull squad has been pretty solid defense in terms of defensive rebounding. So I think the Knicks, like, I understand they have this double big lineup in like Mitchell Robinson and Cat that we saw a little bit more compared to the previous game at the United Center on Friday. But the problem for me was just that the Knicks are just getting offensive rebounds from anybody. Like, it wasn't just the, you know, Cat and Mitchell Robinson. Like, you know, Josh Hart would get one, which I understand he's a pretty scrappy guy, but like, I just feel like it just that sort of stuff just can't happen. McBride got one in between Buzelis and Vucevic. I was just like, how the hell did Miles McBride get that shot, to get that offensive rebound? Like, that's unacceptable by the Bulls tonight. And we see when you give up that offensive rebound because everyone collapses to the glass, that what if the team gets the offensive rebound, it's kicked back out for an open 3-point shot. And that's what killed the Bulls, because you got a stop in a sense, but then you gave up the offensive rebound, and all of a sudden now, because you all collapsed to the glass, now someone's open from 3-point range. So I think that's something that I'm really looking at as like the Bulls need to find a way to be better in that against their game moving forward, and especially against the 76ers, because I understand Giddey's a fantastic rebounder, and he was definitely not the issue tonight. And Vucevic got his, you know, typical double-double, but the others have to rebound as well. We can't just rely on Giddey and Vucevic to get all the rebounds, and Buzelis got a few, So I appreciate that from Buzelis, but I also think he needs to work on getting some rebounds as well. It might have to come later in his career just because of how skinny he is, but then I'm still looking at the others then. Like, Jalen Smith needs to be better in terms of getting defensive rebounds. Isaac Okoro is a guy that I think could get more defensive rebounds because he's not really doing much else, right? And I understand he's guarding guys defensively, but he's got to find a way to get some rebounds because he's not always on the best player on the offensive end or on the defensive end. So I'm just a little bit disappointed to see this because I think these are some things that are very fixable, and it just requires some effort for the Bulls just to kind of stay in this one. And there's too many fouls tonight, and I'm being dead serious. Like, I hate officials right now. This was not because of the officials tonight. Like, I know a lot of people are gonna be looking at this, and Stacey King was calling out and saying like, the Knicks get away with a lot, man. But I honestly think the Bulls just were not playing hard enough tonight. They resorted to some stupid fouls that were just like, that's unnecessary. We even saw, for example, like Vucevic, he decided to foul Josh Hart when it was like a fast break opportunity for the Knicks, and he fouled Josh Hart like 35 feet away from the basket, but that puts the Bulls over the limit. Like, those sort of fouls, like, I understand it's a fast break opportunity here potentially, but he wasn't at the rim yet. Like, I don't understand the foul. Those sort of fouls are just unacceptable by this Bulls squad, and so I think, honestly, a lot of the fouls were just because the Bulls didn't give the effort tonight, and so they just resorted to fouling instead of trying to actually be good defenders, and it cost the Bulls a lot of free throws tonight, especially in that first quarter. So some stuff needs to be worked on moving forward here, but again, I think this is something that we can learn from, and the Bulls are going to have to, take this game in quickly and, absorb what happened today. I don't know if they're going to be practicing tomorrow, but definitely look at some of the film stuff and recognize, hey, we could have been a lot better in this game just from getting some better effort on the defensive glass, and to just actually try on defense to not, resort to fouling or to not give up the open 3-point shot. So I think there's a lot to learn. Unfortunately, the turnover battle came back to haunt the Bulls tonight a little bit. 14 turnovers isn't horrible, but the Bulls, one of the biggest reasons why the Bulls won their last game was because they didn't turn the ball over, and the Bulls had some sloppy turnovers tonight. And so if you're going to have your turnovers kind of go back to the mean, then you can't give up offensive rebounds, because that's giving too many possessions to the Knicks at that point. You just can't let that happen. So I'm a little bit upset overall with how that was done by the Bulls tonight, but again, we'll learn, and hopefully we'll be better against the 76ers next. I appreciate Giddey's effort. Yeah, I don't know if you're here, Rozzy, but yeah, like, Giddey was not the problem tonight. Like, I think Giddey honestly played a really good game tonight. And to talk about the rebounding, right? I think Giddey's been, again, one of the best, rebounders on the team again this season, and he wasn't the issue tonight on the glass by any means. He got like 10 rebounds tonight, so he wasn't the issue. But I'm looking at everyone else, and I'm just like, y'all gotta give me some effort. We had what, 48 rebounds tonight, and let's see, we had 26 of those between Vucevic and Giddey. Like, that's unacceptable. I'm looking at all these other guys, and I'm just like, hey, you're all getting 20 plus minutes. Like, this needs to be up higher. I'm not really expecting Jones to get too many, but like, this could be higher. This definitely could be higher. Julian Phillips only played 5 minutes, I guess, but this could be higher from Jalen Smith for sure. So like, this could be higher. It's a little bit frustrating to see overall, but I'm hoping for better results for the next game. Yeah, I'm looking to see how the Bulls respond after this loss. I think that is something that I'm going to be interested in for this 76ers game coming up, because this is like the first time where like the momentum's not on our side for this season. So I want to see this Bulls team come out with like full focus and show like, hey, we're still going to come out and set the tone defensively, right? We're going to come out and be ready to, play much better defense, get the defensive rebound, and continue to attack in transition. So I think this is important to see the Bulls just like have a good mindset coming into next game, and not come in like how they kind of came in today a little bit, where they just seem to just not just have the effort tonight on the defensive end, which is really frustrating to see after some pretty good overall effort in the first like 5 games. Like, there's definitely some moments that it wasn't the best, especially when it comes to the paint points, right? Like, I that first half the Kings game still lives in my head of just like, I think the effort on in the first half, the Kings game was atrocious and defensively. But I think to see this tonight, where it's like, it's not necessarily that you're giving up paint points, but it's you're not getting the defensive rebound, and you're also not getting back in transition, which I thought the Bulls have been doing a pretty good job of that overall to start the season when it comes to transition defense. And then you're not closing out the 3-point shooters in under control, which we were seeing a lot of that early on. So we can't get complacent. Like, this team is, like we've talked about, is it relies a lot on being, as a team. We can't rely on one person to try to lead us to a victory. So it's going to have to come from collective, and that goes for both ends. So you can't get complacent here. Again, I want this team to learn from it, and hopefully we were able to learn from this L tonight, and we can be better moving forward. Look like you hear it out there. Yeah, I think Giddey definitely. I mean, I think all these guys care, but Giddey was showing the effort tonight more than anybody, I think. Defensively, he had some miscues, unfortunately. But, like, I'm not going to be too critical of him if he's been the best offensive player for the night. So I'm not going to be like, oh, like, Giddey, like, Giddey definitely had some bad rotations, and then he jumped on a 3-point pump fake that was completely unnecessary to jump at. But, like, I'm not going to be that critical of him when he's, like, the only guy really getting defensive rebounds besides Vucevic, and he was also the only offense really tonight. So I'm more looking at some of these other guys because, hey, if we're going to be all about this is a team, right? Then as a team, we got to be better in terms of defensive rebounding, right? Like, we can't just be like, oh, we're going to be individually picking some of these guys out and be like, hey, like, oh, like, this one guy didn't get some rebounds. Like, this is team, right? It's all about team aspect right now. So if you weren't in double-digit rebounds, honestly, in this game, I feel like we can all look at you and be like, hey, like, we rebound as a team, guys. Like, and this wasn't good enough tonight. Injuries finally catching up to the Bulls. Not having Io, Kobe, and Collins sucks. It definitely does suck, and you could tell Io's injury was really killing the Bulls tonight. But I still think the Bulls could have given better effort tonight, even with the injuries. And like, don't get me wrong, Io has been like one of the best players off the bench in the entire league to start the season. But it's got to be better effort tonight, even with Io being out. So it's just really unfortunate just to see that. But yes, they lack focus. They 100% did. Win for the Knicks though as well. This felt like a must win for the Knicks. This felt like a must win for the Knicks though as well. I agree in a sense. So like, it might have been some desperation from the Knicks, and props to them. But they kind of did give us a beating. But even with that being said, I feel like the Bulls should kind of know heading into this game, like, it's a rematch. The Knicks probably felt like that they got absolutely spanked at the United Center. Like, you should know heading into this game that it's going to be tougher. And I just felt like the team just was like almost kind of shocked with how well their 3-point shooting was tonight. Like, in all actuality, like, if you want to know, like, the Knicks made 18 threes in the previous game, and the Bulls won. The Knicks made 23s tonight, so it's like it's not like it was that much of a difference, but we just saw the Bulls were seriously lacking some focus tonight, and it was really frustrating just to watch it. But like, you should know heading into this game that, hey, they made 18 threes against us last game. We need to be ready for the 3-point shooting, and for some reason it just didn't seem like they were ready for it tonight. We also saw the Knicks actually get some offensive rebounds in the last game as well, and for some reason the Bulls just didn't seem ready for it tonight. I don't know why. But still a young team, as we all like to say. And so hopefully, again, this is a learning moment, and you got to learn from this and move on. But make sure that we don't just move on and just be like, oh, we'll wipe this game away. No, you gotta move. We gotta learn from this. Once again, I gave the team some credit to start before I got into this. Like, hey, I did not think our first loss was gonna come in November. So the fact that our first loss is coming in November is a pretty awesome thing. So this team absolutely deserves a lot of credit for their first 5 games. They did a really good job of getting those first 5 wins. Like, they deserve a lot of credit, right? With that being said, though, like, we can't get complacent. I was fine losing this game. Because I knew how tough it was going to be, I just wanted better effort tonight. And I just felt like we didn't see it. So hopefully get back to the better effort on Tuesday against the 76ers here. So once again, just I said earlier, we're going to start with some of the bright spots. So once again, Giddey continues to play really well. He's done so well in transition this season that I'm honestly just in awe sometimes with what he's able to do in transition. The defense honestly seems afraid to take a charge against him, which is great. So keep pushing tempo as long as the defense is not just gonna stand in front of you and just take that charge. Giddey's also done a really good job of understanding how to do the spin move, whether he picks it up or he decides to keep his dribble alive, and that's really helping collapse the defense. So the spin move has been a really nice addition to Giddey's game. That's been more consistent and more secure, right? So I'm hoping that that's something that can continue for Giddey. But he's done really well overall to start this season, and he continued to play really well tonight. He's finding his open teammates really effectively, continuing to rebound really effectively, and we saw him in transition and also in some pick and roll opportunities to be able to score. There is still some moments with that pick and roll game that are still some like clunky moments, but I appreciate the effort when it comes to the pick and roll effort. So good job by Giddey tonight. Okoro had by far his best game as a Bull tonight. And I think that is definitely something to be positive. He hit 2 3-point shots. He had overall 6 field goals made, and he was able to get some looks at the rim that he's able to finish. Now, to just go ahead and just say some of the negatives, unfortunately, with him, he's got to be able to finish some of these layups that he missed tonight. He missed a couple of gimmies, I felt like, especially one in the first quarter. So it's like these are layups that have to be going down for him. And I don't know what it's really going to take for him to kind of figure this out. But I'm happy the 3-point shot in the corner started to go down a little bit tonight. So that was a good sign to see. I'm hoping to see more layups where it's like, he decides to drive in and he's got to be able to finish some of these. So looking to see more of that. He made some shots at the rim tonight, but we got to see some ability to actually put the ball on the floor and make the shot at the rim. Buzelis hit 4 threes tonight. I think that's pretty significant because he's had a rough start to start the season from 3-point range. So that's pretty significant to see. Jalen Williams had an incredible first half. Unfortunately, he was just pretty nowhere in the second half. But I know a lot of people have been talking about Jalen Williams and his struggles, and we talked about a little bit about this on this channel. But he had a really good first half and got the Bulls back in it in the second quarter. Unfortunately, that did not continue. But I do appreciate to see him, have a really nice first half. Unfortunately, some of the fouling kind of got to him, and just the inability to guard Cat was a big issue. So we got to see some better defense overall from everybody, but also Jalen Smith, excuse me. I'm saying Jalen Williams. Jalen Smith had a really good first half, but Smith's got to do a little bit better job against Cat defensively. I understand that there's that whole play in the post and Cat through the elbow, but Smith's gotta that. I honestly think the officials call that right. Smith's gotta be better overall defensively, and find ways to not foul driving centers as much. So, and got close out under control, guys. It's something that's really important. So, that's I think overall positives besides maybe Vujic having another efficient night, but he didn't score enough. He had some pretty bad turnovers. So we'll just leave it there as the overall positive. So another great Giddey game. First triple double of the season for him. I think Okoro is a positive just to see that he's able to score in a game here, which is good to see. Buzelis hit 4 threes tonight, which is a very positive sign. And then Jalen Smith's first half was overall positive, but it wasn't really much after that. Hoping to see Smith kind of find a little bit more of a rhythm moving forward here. But we will see if he's able to figure that out. Collins is definitely missed though, especially in a game like this where Collins would be guarding Cat for a good portion of this game. You can tell that he was missed tonight for sure. So hope to see Zach Collins back soon once he's able to get healed up and everything. Not gonna lie, I feel better to say I'm a Bulls fan now than before. What do you mean by that? As just kind of where you see this Bulls team's direction is. I don't know if I'm proud. I was definitely proud in that five game winning streak. I'll definitely say that. I'm not really sure if I'm ready to say as an overall Bulls fan is moving forward. I'm proud just yet. I gotta wait to see this team actually go and have some playoff success for me to say that, because the unfortunate reality is that we just have not had playoff success for a long time. So I'm not ready to say that just yet, but I think from the 5-0 start, I do feel better about this squad, or a lot more I guess a lot more positive thoughts are going through my head about the squad compared to at the start of the season. But it's it's kind of like games like this, and it's not necessarily that like, oh, I think the wheels are falling off or anything like that, but it's just like it does still remind us all that, hey, if we are going to be doing this whole like, hey, we're going to lead, we're winning by committee, strength in numbers, like we got to have our numbers, right? We've won these 5 games without Kobe and Zach Collins, which is huge. But then all of a sudden one more person goes out, and I'm like, man, like I'm really missing this guy right now. So I do think that it's something we got to keep in mind, and we can't really have any more injuries, man. I overall do feel a little bit better about the squad compared to the start of the season, where, man, I predicted 36 wins. So, I mean, I'm gonna hope that the Bulls are not gonna be only getting 36 wins after the 5-0 start. That'd be extremely disappointing. This feels good to be in a good direction. Would you say this is actually good direction though, Noah? Like, I hate to, I don't want to sound like the absolute Debbie Downer, but the only thing that I've been adamant about is just like, let's say this Bulls team does become playoff caliber, okay? I'm not really sure how far we're going to be able to go, which is my biggest thing. But then it's also just, for me, my biggest issue is you're depending on a Vucevic that is he's a vet. So I don't know how good I feel about that as like him being like a really key part. But the other part about it is that I don't know, like the Bulls assets pool is still not the best. So I am like a little bit concerned moving forward about like, hey, if this team, let's say becomes like, let's say for example the Bulls get the 6th seed this season, right? Like I just don't know how much better we can get after that. And that's something that I'm like, like I don't know where the Bulls are gonna be able to find ways to improve besides just internal development, which is like, yeah, that's always the important factor, but like we're also a big market squad. Like I would want ways to be able to try to improve without having to just rely on internal development. But maybe that's something when we gotta talk about when that line crosses, Second of our era was just 40 to 42 every year, and we all knew that even before that they played a game together. Well, I mean, so the Levine and DeRozan era, I said it was 44 to, it was gonna be like 44 to 46 wins in the first season, right? Like you guys can go watch my YouTube video on that. Like I predicted that, but I also thought that team could have more success if they just were willing to add more to it, and they didn't, obviously. And they continue to not add to it for years upon years, right? Hence then why we're always 40 and 40, 40 to 42 wins every single season. Now, obviously, if the Bulls get to 42 wins this season, it's looking a little bit more positive because, like, hey, like, it's young players. We're looking still at development from some of these guys, and we're not down some picks for the, a Vucevic trade. But I'm still looking at this squad. I'm like, well, I understand we have cap space heading out into the 2026 offseason, but it's not that much, and the free agent market like isn't that great. But our overall asset pool is not that great either because we just have our own pick basically, and maybe a Portland pick. So that's kind of the reason why I'm just like, I'm still in like, I don't know about the direction necessarily. Now, if let's say Giddey or Buzelis or whoever becomes a superstar, and these guys are able to develop really nicely, then I feel a lot better. Like I feel a lot better about the squad then because we have that sort of level of talent that with these guys. I think Buzelis though, like with the way he's starting the season, like I think a lot of people expect like 20 points per game. Like we're probably not going to get that this season. Giddey's had a hell of a start to the season, and don't get me wrong. But we've also sort of discussed a little bit about like, he still unfortunately does have some limitations in the half court that are like something that we have to just keep an eye on, but he's getting to the 20 points per game, so he's doing everything I'm asking him to do, so that's a great sign. I do think 5-0 is a bit misleading. Don't get me wrong, like I think 5-0, I don't think the Bulls are fake in that sense. Like I think they've actually done like a hell of an effort, and you're seeing how effective the depth is, and like certain key players like Giddey, like Vucevic, like these guys have played really well. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that this is fake. Do I think though that like some of these scores maybe should have been closer and maybe that leads to a loss? Maybe. But I think the Bulls absolutely deserve like their 5-0 record. I'm just overall concerned with this whole like depth thing, where it's like if just one more person goes out, I feel like we're just suddenly we're missing like a huge piece, which is a little bit scary. Because like I don't know, maybe we gotta wait longer. Like if Io's out for like a couple more games, like maybe Javon Carter plays better, or like Julian Phillips plays better, or something like that, and it shows like okay, we're still fine with our depth, but. Missing Io, who's averaging 16 to start the season, like we were very clearly missing him tonight, which really sucks. So, we're gonna start losing out soon, like we all thought before the start. I hope not, but I mean, there is that possibility. I still think Vooch is gonna get traded later this season. Really, I don't have much faith he will personally, because he's on last year of his contract. He's 35 years old now. I personally don't see him getting traded. I hope you're right. I don't think the Bulls are going to get a first for him, though, if he does get traded. I think the Bulls just need to accept 2 second-round picks, but I hope so. I understand he's playing better. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's playing better. But I want to see... I mean, I think we should have traded him last season when we could have, and we didn't. I just don't see a contender that's willing to give up future assets or valuable future assets for him, but if they're like, a couple second-rounders, I think maybe someone's willing to give up that for him. But I'm not really seeing it right now in terms of getting good asset in return. With Giddey, he finished a lot better today, and that's a good sign in the half court. So I think Giddey's finishing has overall been like better to start this season. And the biggest thing also for me is that his drives, like his ball handling on his drives, looks a lot more secure, which is a great sign. Yeah, that does bode well moving forward. But a lot of times when it comes to Giddey, it's either him in transition, or it's him just as like driving, right? And it's defense is like kind of in rotation, and he's able to get like these moments, or it's like if it is a half court situation, it's the ability to get downhill. Like you'll see a high screen and roll for him to get downhill with his speed to try to get a look at the rim. Which, don't get me wrong, he's finishing these at a much better rate, and we saw like very little floaters tonight, which is a great sign. The problem though is just like the half court, like it's when he doesn't have a pull-up game, it really does limit you in the pick and roll situation. And so that is just something that I'm like always keeping my eye on. I'm like, okay, are we able to try to figure out a way to increase this? And he took some pull-up jump shots tonight. It just didn't go down for him, unfortunately. So like, I'm happy he's shooting them. I'm just like trying to figure out like, can we find a way to get this to be effective? Or is this just gonna be something that I just have to live with, right? And don't get me wrong, like the way that Giddey's turned out now, he's a very effective player as a starter. I'm just saying that moving forward, that maybe the Bulls actually need to invest in someone else to also handle the ball effectively. And I don't think that's an issue, because like with the way that Giddey's, his hitting 3-point shot and still scoring 20 a night, like I'm all for having him also handle the ball as well. Like, that's totally fine. I'm just like, we got to figure out something else though, instead of us always going to the Giddey pick and roll. Because right now that's just it's right now with the numbers, it's just not as effective right now. But that's I hope to see this improve. I think he has shown some levels of improvement, but it's gonna have to be a pull-up jump shot. It has to be added, or he's gonna have to find a way to like seriously break down a mismatch. Because you're still seeing sometimes that the team just switches, and it's just like, okay, well now what? Yeah. The Pelicans are gonna 100% gonna trade, I think, for Vooch. Really? I'd be shocked, honestly. Like, first off, the Pelicans don't have their pick this season. They traded that pick away to Atlanta. So I don't really know what I'm looking for when it comes to the Pelicans then. I guess just a future first. But I would be shocked if the Pelicans did that trade. They're in a horrible spot, but I don't think Vooch is gonna fix them, really. The Bulls front office doesn't value second round picks enough to make that trade. The Bulls front office for some reason doesn't value second round picks. I don't know why. Go look at the Thunder and just be like, wow, like this guy's a second round pick, like AJ Mitchell, for example. Like he's like it just bothers the crap out of me that we don't value it. But yeah, it's not gonna happen probably, because I've said it, like the way that Vooch has played and with the way the Bulls have been, like it seems like they want to compete. Like it honestly just seems like, oh, we're gonna be keeping Vooch around, we're gonna extend him, which I'm like, why? I'm not really loving that idea, but I don't make the decisions. He made two, I thought. Giddy pull-up shots. Are we talking off the pick and roll? He made one in the post. I know that for sure. And then, or he made two, like, kind of in the post, I guess. Like, it was like two. I guess the first one was like back to the basket, but also off the pick and roll. It was definitely a turnaround fadeaway, but I'll give it to him. He made another one though, kind of in the post that was really similar. That wasn't off a pick. That he just kind of shot over. I think it was Anunoby, but he missed a few though that were just like clearly off pick and roll. Just he just didn't make it. Which is like, again, like I'm not expecting him to make it. I would love to see if he could, but it's if he doesn't make it, it's fine. He's still a very, very good player as a starter moving forward. I was a bit disappointed in Matas in this game. I was expecting more from him. What were you specifically disappointed in, if I could ask, Migs? Because I'm interested in just your answer. I think it's a good thing he's taking them for sure. I agree. I think he needs to take them just to kind of limit test himself, but it's definitely limited with his pull-up game. Like, you could just tell every time Giddey comes off the screen, like, he's really looking to attack the basket or pass. And so I'm like, okay, like, that's effective. Don't get me wrong. Like, you need ball handlers like that. But I'm just like, all right, can we get this guy to, like, consistently be averaging, like, you know, high 20s? Like, I doubt it right now, that's fine. I'm not losing sleep over it. If he's just gonna average 20, then that's totally fine. Hopefully Io comes back next game, or else the Bulls will be in a lot of trouble with those explosive backcourt. Yeah, you're definitely right that I'm hoping Io is back for the 76ers because Edgecombe and Maxey are insanely good. So especially Maxey. But yeah, we need our guys ready to be guarding those guys. I do think Okoro is going to be taking some time on either one of those two. So I do expect to see him a little bit, but I am looking to see if Io's gonna be ready for next game because we're gonna need his defense for sure. Because it's gonna be Trey Jones is gonna be on one of them. Io's gonna have to take definitely some time in either one of those guys as well. And then it's gonna be a Coral maybe in the starting lineup that gets the call. I just don't know if only one of those guys is on the floor. I don't really know what the exact game plan is gonna be. I'd like to keep monitoring that. Yeah, we'll just keep monitoring it. We'll be checking in on Giddey's pull-up stuff, which is, you know, hopefully he gets it. I'm not losing sleep if he doesn't. Want to be more aggressive driving the lane. Okay, so you're talking about the offensive end. I see. So I thought Buzelis actually had some aggressive drives. It just didn't end up going too well for him. We saw like an aggressive drive early in the game. It didn't go well. He then also had a drive, or I guess it was a fast break opportunity that, you know, you can maybe argue a foul, but like I feel like he just has to be strong with the ball. So if you're disappointed in that aspect, I kind of understand. I thought you were gonna say like the defensive rebounding effort, because like he did have 6 rebounds on the defensive glass tonight, but I also thought that he could have given better effort tonight on that end. And then overall defensively, I think everyone could have given better effort, but I thought you were gonna point out the rebounding specifically, but I think it's a good sign with the 3-point shot. That's a good sign. I do agree though that his drives need to be more cleaner and better moving forward. Matas needs to be more assertive. I mean, it is. We have to remind ourselves this is supposed to be an everybody eats offense, right? So I'm not necessarily upset at like the shot attempts, but I do think that when it comes to when he did drive, he needs to be better overall. Matas probably needs to watch some Larry Bird and Dirk tape to pick up some of their moves. Why those two? I'm interested because like I look at Matas and I really don't look at him as Dirk really. Like Dirk was, if we take Dirk Nowitzki, right? Dirk Nowitzki was insane in the post. He had that insane fadeaway, but then he was mostly like he was being set up when it comes to his shots in the perimeter, right? Whether it was, you know, him coming off the screen, or he was setting the screen and popping back out to the 3-point line, or taking like a one dribble pull up into his shot. Now Larry Bird, I can maybe kind of understand what you're saying, but I personally disagree with Dirk completely, because Dirk's a 7-footer that relied on his you know, his perimeter guys to set him up for shots, or he was insane in the post where he was able to, you know, just shoot over guys or use the fadeaway. But Larry Bird, I can definitely kind of see it in a sense. But Bird was also an insane shooter, and I don't know if that's really Buzelis' game right now. Buzelis is definitely more of he's like a hybrid forward that is going to put the ball on the floor and look to attack the rim, uses athleticism and length to try to finish at the basket, and with his handling and his overall size. Like that's the way I look at Buzelis. And then the 3-point shot is also something that's in the works, where that could definitely be more Larry Bird, maybe. I think his game resembles those two the most. Really, that's interesting. I do not really see Dirk in Buzelis, honestly. He doesn't really remind me much of Dirk, personally. But Larry Bird, I think I can understand that. The way I kind of look at Buzelis is like, he's in a sense, like he's kind of like a bigger Jason Tatum, but he doesn't obviously have the overall like shooting skill that Tatum has right now. And Buzelis needs to still clean up his dribbling just a little bit to make sure his drives are more clean and consistent. What's your take on Okoro? So this was by far his best game tonight as a Bull, which I'm happy to see that. Like I went through my positives earlier, and so Giddey is obviously the main positive, triple-double Giddey. He's had a great start to the season, and I'm happy to see this continue even in an L. We saw Okoro have his best game as a Bull, especially on the offensive end, which is a good sign. He still needs to find ways to make some of these layups that he's missing. But this is a really good sign that he hit a couple of corner 3-point shots. He made some shots at the rim. That was overall a good sign from him. The unfortunate part, though, is just that the problem with him is in this sort of everybody eats offense, okay? The idea behind this offense is that if you throw it to any individual player, they have the ability to either shoot the basketball or make a correct decision with the basketball, or the biggest thing, which I think is the third thing, is that they're able to put it on the floor effectively and drive to the rim. And Okoro, unfortunately, so far to start the season, has not shown that ability to do that consistently. He is, like, his 3-point shot has been iffy. I do expect it to be better than what we're seeing so far, which, tonight will help. But his ability to drive to the basket, catch the ball and then make a quick decision to drive and then finish has been very, very ineffective so far to start the season. So, like, guys like Okoro truly do rely on someone else to, like, really set them up, right? Someone else to heavily draw in the defense, and then they just shoot the 3-point shot, or they get an easy cutting layup out of it. Okoro, unfortunately, has not shown that ability to, like, consistently drive with the basketball in his hands without either turning it over or making a bad pass or not finishing the layup, or at least not finishing it consistently. So that's been the issue with Okoro, especially on offense. The offense, unfortunately, when the ball is thrown to him, unless he's hitting the 3-point shot on the perimeter, it just basically dies. So I'm just kind of like, it's not the best overall, but I'm happy to see that he was able to score tonight. He did have some moments where he did drive and finished, but he got some nice looks at the rim. Like Giddey in transition found him for an easy layup. Like, those are shots I'm expecting him just to make easily. But then the next step for him is that if you're going to be running like the zoom action that we're seeing with this team consistently in this 5-out offense, then I need you to be able to put the ball on the floor at least every now and then and be able to go finish at the rim, especially if there's like no shot blocker out there, and he just hasn't done that, unfortunately. Everybody eats offense is good, but at times you need someone to take over at times. No, I completely agree. Like, don't get me wrong, I think that my overall view for how I would build an NBA squad is changing a bit with how I'm seeing these teams like really, like, they're really investing into their depth. Like the Thunder and the Pacers were arguably two of the most deepest teams in the league last season in terms of just the raw depth that they have. Like I 100% understand, like, that is something that should be valued right now. And having guys like how the Bulls are playing, like having guys with like Dosunmu coming off your bench and Herder coming off your bench, like that's pretty valuable. Like those are starter caliber players coming off your bench, and don't get me wrong, that's important. However, as much as I do think that, I do still think you need a guy to go out and score and like take over when it's necessary. Because I do think that sometimes the everybody eats offense is gonna have some struggles. Which is not, I'm not blaming anybody out of it. I'm just saying that, like, there's going to be some times where it's not the right time to go ahead and use like the everybody eats offense. There's going to have to be times where someone needs to just kind of just take the rock and just be the main guy. Ideally, that's Giddey, right? I think in a perfect world, that could be Giddey. The unfortunate part, though, is that a lot of what Giddey has done has just been in transition, and he's done really well to get to the free throw line, which I'm hoping that continues. That's been a lot in the half court for him, has been the free throw line, but I think I'm kind of looking more as Giddey is like, he's probably going to have to be like secondary ball handler and a really good three-point shooter, and does a lot of the other things, like he passes it very well, he runs transition really well, he rebounds really well. That's a really effective starter. Like that's a very, very, very good starter in this league. But in terms of like, all right, we need an ISO possession because the everybody eats offense is either turning it over too much or guys don't have it tonight, we're missing our three-point looks, like, then someone has to be able to be that guy. And so it is always just like, how do the Bulls get that? If you talk to some people, they think that someone like me is overemphasizing that. Maybe I am, but that's personally the way that I look at things. And so that's just my opinion. And so you have every right to disagree with me. I'm not here to, try to change your opinion on that. But for the way I personally look at things is that you still need a guy. Maybe it's Buzelis, right? Buzelis has shown that ability to break down his defender one-on-one, drive effectively at times, right? Not really tonight, but like maybe it's him if he develops more, but we will see. Okoro needs to be like Bruce Bowen, a 3-and-D type. I mean, yeah, like in an ideal world, that's what Okoro's just gonna be doing. But I think in this sort of offense, he needs to do a little bit more, right? Like he needs to be able to actually kind of run a screen and roll in a sense, not very often, but he also needs to be able to, more importantly, drive effectively and finish. That's the biggest thing. And Bruce Bowen in his day could definitely do that. I don't know if Okoro maybe can do that. Okoro is like Keith Bogans. It's not honestly a horrible comparison. We don't need another Bogans. We don't. Yeah. But still, I think we should take this, like, I'm not trying to be too negative about Okoro, so like, I think it should be a positive what we saw tonight. Like, he had a, season high 14 points tonight. So hopefully he's getting more comfortable and the 3-point shot maybe is coming to him a little bit more, and he'll take what we saw today in terms of his finishing and be ready to finish more. That's why we need Kobe. Kobe can definitely be like a guy that can sort of create his own shot in a sense. My only thing though with Kobe is just like, I think that he's also probably like a secondary ball handler on a winning team. He's definitely not, at least in my opinion, the main guy. He's too inconsistent to be the main guy. So like, I don't think he could be the main guy, but he could prove me wrong here. But if that is the case, then I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out then like, does Kobe and Giddey work? We don't, like, I mean, it worked at the end of last season, so you should definitely try it again before you make a decision. But it is something to just kind of consider. I wish we had a guy like Mather on this team. Obviously, this year he was really good before he got hurt, but last year he was really good off the bench too. Mathurin I mean, I think he started the season like really, really solid. And when he's able to, like, he can be pretty efficient, especially from like the free throw line. Like he gets the free throw line a lot. He'd be nice for sure. Like in this sort of offense, like the Pacers kind of run something similar with what the Bulls are doing right now, but they're obviously missing their superstar point guard. So it's been, they're missing Halliburton, who's not just like, the guy that makes the engine run, but he's also the guy that is the, clutch shot maker and can be the guy that can, isolate when necessary and hit a pull-up three. Like he's still he's still like, if things go wrong, I'll get Tim and Siakam to try to figure it out. But yeah, I think Mathurin would definitely kind of thrive in this sort of system the Bulls are running, because like they are similar with how kind of like the Pacers are started kind of running things a little bit. I do think Pacers are a little bit more kind of around Siakam this season because of just the current circumstances of the roster. I mean, they have like 7 guys out. But yeah, Mathurin would be interesting for sure. So I think it's a 25-5 guy to speak. That's number 2 numbers. That's number 2 in some teams, right? It's number 3 in other teams. the important part with Kobe though is that if he's gonna be like a number 2 or number 3, his efficiency has to be high, right? And so it's important that if he's gonna average 25 and 5, then he has to up that 3-point efficiency and that field goal efficiency overall to get there. I'm afraid we won't see Sticks once Zach comes back. Too bad, he's been playing good lately. So first half in this game was great by Jalen Smith. He played great in that first half. The biggest thing though I have to say is that defensively he's had some issues. Like we saw it in the Atlanta Hawks game that Smith was taken out and played like 9 minutes because he couldn't guard Porzingis effectively, or it was a lot of the Trae Young and Porzingis pick and roll was like it was giving him a lot of issues. Which I mean that gives a lot of people issues, but like he was not doing enough. And then tonight, for example, like don't get me wrong, Cat's a hard guard, but we're seeing Smith like he's like running out to Cat with like on roller skates sometimes, and then he has to just commit a foul. So like defensively, it's a little bit concerning to see from Smith because I feel like he has the foot speed to kind of be a better defender, but we haven't seen it. If that is the case, it will be unfortunate because like obviously Collins has played really well, and so he deserves, you know, the showing to be like, yeah, I still deserve this this backup role right now. But Sticks is like the guy that like he can be a really good offensive spark plug off the bench, which is the reason why I'm like I would rather not see him not play, but we might have to do that just with the center situation right now, which is it's the right decision because if Collins comes back and plays well and Vucevic is still playing well, then it's like, okay, well, you know, Sticks, unfortunately, just because of his inefficiency overall for the season, but then defensively has been a little bit of an issue. Like, it just is what it is. But I hope he's able to play better, and, you know, maybe he can convince Donovan to give him some 4 minutes off the bench or something like that. Yeah, unfortunately, this signing has not gone the way I thought. Like, early on last season, like, because remember, this was a Bulls mid-level exception signing. So early on last season, he was playing really well off the bench, if you remember. Like, he wasn't even shooting that great from 3-point range, but like Jalen Smith was playing extremely well off the bench before we got Zach Collins. Right, he like early on in the season he was playing pretty well, and then he suffered some injuries in like a little bit in the middle of the season, and then it wasn't like that great after that, and then Collins came in and took his spot. So like I do think that it's just a little bit of the unfortunate circumstances for him, but I do think that he needs to play better, more consistently overall. What's it? Yeah. Sorry. What's number 1 on the Bulls? Was it your next message? Number 1 on the Bulls with Collins coming back, he can play Smith at power forward off the bench at times, which can give you some extra size. Were these two messages connected, Woodage? I'm so sorry. I was blabbing her away. So I do apologize. If Kobe comes back, would you start him immediately or play him off the bench in a couple of games? So me personally, I would start him. I would have him on a minutes restriction because I mean he hasn't played, you know, professional basketball in many months. So he's gonna come back on a minutes restriction, not just because of that, just due to, you know, in-game conditioning, but also just to make sure that that calf is not giving you any issues, because we gotta be really careful. But I would personally start him because he's gonna be starting eventually, so I might as well just start him. But he's gonna be like, you know, play like 4-minute spurts or something like that. It's gonna be a very heavy minutes restriction to start. Sorry, Woodage. Kobe's numbers would be number 1 in the Bulls. Oh, you mean in terms of scoring? Like he'd be the number 1 scorer? Like right now it'd be Giddey right now. If that's what you're saying? Sorry. You probably won't be able to tune in for the next few streams because I have a few big exams coming up, but as always, really appreciate and look forward to your insight into the Bulls. I appreciate that, Rozzy. I sincerely do appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning into the streams, and hey, good luck on the exams. I also have a few exams coming up, so good luck on that. But yeah, I sincerely do appreciate it. I appreciate you staying respectful in the chat and everything, and you tuning in. So I sincerely appreciate it. Good luck, man. 20 points per game would probably be the leading scorer for the Bulls. Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay, yeah. So maybe throughout the season, yeah. Which first and foremost, we got to see if Kobe can get there again, because I think he should, but I mean, there's a world where he doesn't. But like, yeah, Giddey right now is averaging 22 and probably I guess like 23 now after the season or after this game. So he would be right now the leading scorer. But yeah, Kobe maybe would come in and like Giddey might not shoot as much. And Kobe is gonna be the leading scorer. So like, yeah, it should be him. Again, we just don't know. Like there's always some things with Kobe with his inconsistency that like it's always a little bit frustrating. So we will see. With Collins coming back, you can play Smith at power forward off the bench at times, which gives you extra size. So, like, I definitely think there's a world where you can do that. I don't really recommend it that often, but I did see enough of it in preseason to be like, okay, like, it's not, like, horrible. So, if you're facing the Houston Rockets, for example, and they're running, double bigs, then, yeah, I think you should probably actually look into doing that. I would personally not look to do it that often, though, especially if, like, the opponent's bench is like small, like Smith's gonna get burned on the perimeter if you're gonna be running that sort of lineup. So but yeah, if it's big lineup out there, then yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to go ahead and do that a little bit, but has to make sure that you're seeing some bigs out there. When Mata shoots threes, it's usually the corner threes. Now he shot top of the key, top of the circle threes and made them. That is honestly pretty huge. I know Buzelis definitely took a lot of corner threes last season, but we were seeing in preseason that Buzelis was taking those, above the break threes, which is pretty, like, we're seeing like pull up threes in transition from him, right? Above the break, which is humongous development. But yeah, tonight he hit a lot above the break, which is really good. I think he hit one in the corner, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But yeah, I hope to see definitely more some above the break threes where you can come off a pick and roll. If the defense goes under, just shoot it. But yeah, it's a good sign that he hit the threes tonight. But we were talking about earlier, Christopher, that we do think that his drives tonight were not exactly the best, where he kind of was a little bit like sloppy with the ball, like in terms of his drives, or didn't look to finish like with authority. Like we need to see him when he does decide to drive, like hold on to the ball. Oops, sorry, hit my mic. Hold on to the ball and make sure that we get to the basket and try to finish effectively. Unfortunately, the drives to start the season have been a little bit kind of sloppy from him, but it's learning. So as he learns, gets more in tune with driving and everything, it's just going to take some time. So I'm not freaking out about it, but it is something just to know now, right? That he needs to kind of work on these things a little bit more, which is totally fine. Yeah. All right. So that's the positive stuff that we were able to cover with this Bulls game. So again, the positives is Giddey's triple-double still continues to play great to start the season. Okoro had his best overall offensive effort tonight, which is really good to see. You can throw Vucevic in. Like Vucevic had a really efficient game, but his the turnovers in that second half from him were really bad. Like if you're new to this channel, I cannot stand Vucevic post-ups when he's not post up against a mismatch. It bothers the crap out of me when I see a Vucevic post-up and he's being guarded by Mitchell Robinson. So I'm really annoyed with how the Bulls sometimes tonight were like, yeah, let's just post up Vooch just to try to, kind of stabilize your offense a little bit, and he would then turn it over. Like, it's the post up when it's against like an actual effective center is just not a good thing for Vucevic. It has never been in his career. And besides maybe last season. But even last season, I feel like a lot of his post-ups were against mismatches, hence why the numbers were so much better. But I still am adamant that I do not need to see a Vucevic post fadeaway from 18 feet out. Like, I just don't need to see it. We can get a lot better shot on offense, especially with this squad. Besides a Vucevic post fadeaway or just a Vucevic touch in the post against Mitchell Robinson or Cat, like it just could be so much better. So that unfortunately took away some of the positives for Vooch. The last positive was Jalen Smith in that first half. Not the greatest in the second half though. But he didn't get a lot of minutes anyway. So yeah, it could have been definitely more positives overall. I was hoping to see more positives, but not overall the greatest game tonight. In terms of what we saw tonight, So 42 points in the paint for the New York Knicks is like, overall, that's good for Bull standards. The problem is, though, is that I think this number is not really the best showing, because I think, honestly, the Knicks got a lot of paint touches tonight. I don't know if that's even a stat that we can pull up or it's public, but it really felt like the Knicks were getting like into the lane easily tonight. And so, yeah, it didn't necessarily result in the paint points, but my overall point is that it was too easy for the Knicks to touch the paint tonight, which is what we didn't really see, especially in the first half of that Knicks game at the United Center. And so I think the overall effort tonight to prevent drives was disappointing from the Bulls tonight. And a lot of them led to 3-point shots, which obviously the Knicks made 20 tonight. This to me is the biggest issue, okay? This right here, I know the Bulls won a second chance points battle, but the Bulls gave up 14 offensive rebounds, okay? This is unfortunately the biggest negative, at least in my opinion, for tonight, is that for a team that's been mostly known for good defensive rebounding, and you're facing a Knicks squad that isn't really the biggest squad in the league. And Mitchell Robinson only played in 12 minutes tonight and got 13 minutes, got 4 offensive rebounds in his 13 minutes. But like this right here, like how does Josh Hart get 3? How does Mikal Bridges get 3? Like Cat also got 3, right? Like Miles McBride got 1, which made no sense to me. Like this is the sort of stuff that just cannot happen. I'm aware this guy is really scrappy and fights for offensive rebounds. He should not have 3 offensive rebounds though. Like it's just unacceptable. So this needs to get worked out for the Bulls moving forward, because offensive rebounds lead to wide open 3-point shots, and that's what was happening tonight. The Knicks had 17 second chance points. I guarantee you at least 9 of them were off 3-point looks. Yeah, that needs to get worked out for the Bulls moving forward. The Knicks were also the better team in the fast break, but I think a part of this was because the Bulls turned it over more tonight. Again, in that game on Friday, the Bulls did not turn it over, and that was a humongous factor for why the Bulls were able to win that game, was because their offense was just, throughout the game, just was better and cleaner, and it didn't allow the Knicks to get free, easy points. Tonight, the Bulls didn't turn it over, like, horrifically, but it was significantly more than the last game. Therefore, the Knicks were able to get out in fast break, and they got more fast break points than the Bulls, which is atypical usually for this Bull squad. Usually we're the team that's in the lead with this. But also, not just to talk about the turnover issues tonight, but I think the Bulls tonight did not do a good enough job getting back defensively. I need to see this team get back defensively, not in just, if it's a turnover, but just, hey, they got the defensive rebound, we got to get back. And unfortunately, that's what the film breakdown tonight is going to be, is we're going to be seeing some plays where I'm going to be pointing out, like, hey, this has got to be better, guys. And this is where I feel like the defensive effort is just not there. To me, getting back in transition is not necessarily a scheme thing or a coaching thing. It's an effort thing. This should just be effort every single day. And because the Bulls are supposed to have this, depth to their roster, right? Everybody should be fresh to be able to get back in transition. Like, everybody should be fresh. So it really does make me pretty upset to see that if we're going to be saying, oh, this Bulls team has so much depth to the roster, and everyone's going to stay fresh, and then we're not seeing these guys get back in transition effectively, like, I don't know what to say then. Like, the depth idea it goes out the window then in terms of the rest. So that to me was really disappointing tonight, to see the Bulls just not do a good enough job in transition. So disappointing to see overall tonight. And so I do think this is overall a disappointing effort. I was hoping for a better effort. I was not expecting a win tonight. I was just looking for better effort to see if the Bulls can make this a pretty close game. And key factors, unfortunately, like the turnovers we talked about in the last stream, the rebounding where we lost tonight was talked about in the last stream as well. These key factors were very key tonight, and unfortunately the Bulls were on the wrong side of it tonight. So unfortunate to see. So yeah, after this though, so that's my negatives overall. I'll talk about some individual negatives. Unfortunately, we have to talk about it. Trey Jones in the first half was like okay. Better second half though. I appreciate it. Kevin Huerter got 3 fouls at the end of the first quarter. Did not have the best offensive game. So Huerter, ironically, his shooting has not been the best to start the season. Now, I was supposed to have an article out for you guys at this point. Unfortunately, it's not out. It should be out later tonight, and it's going to be about the Bulls bench. But it's, it was off the Knicks win on Friday. So I do apologize that it's not out until after this game. I was hoping for it to be out, but it didn't work out. But I talked about in that article about Huerter and the way he's scoring to start the season, because Herter has not really shot the best from 3-point range. He's shooting 33% heading into this game, and it got worse tonight. He's made 7 threes heading into this game. He's made 8, and we're completed game 6 here. So Herter, as a guy that's been a notoriously good shooter in his career, has not started the season that great not that great from 3-point range, but he's found ways to score in other areas, and we saw a little bit of that tonight. But because of his 3 fouls in the first quarter, he was not able to play much in that second quarter. I don't think he played at all, and so it took him out of the game with his rhythm and offensive flow. Patrick Williams, I'm not going to label as a negative necessarily, but he did miss some shots at the rim that he needs to be better at. But I appreciate the attempts that he took from 3-point range, which actually I guess he only missed 1 shot in here, so I guess I'm misremembering. Not much to say about Julian Phillips. Javon Carter was kind of like an ineffective player in his 12 minutes, unfortunately. So hopefully we get Io back. That's what we really need. We really need Io to get back here. And so once again, I think the defensive effort overall, whether it's 3-point shooting, transition defense, to just understanding that you need to get the damn defensive rebound, I think everyone's kind of to blame tonight, which is unfortunate. So again, hopefully for better effort moving forward. Don't see Bird and Booz catching up at 1.5 speed. Boo's top skills are cutting, rim finishing, off-ball blocks, then step down to potential defensive switch ability in the future. I think we're talking about offense there lacking agenda. So like, again, I completely disagree with Dirk. I think when it comes to Bouz's offensive game, like I can maybe see some Bird in him. But like I said after, like I think I look at Bouz more as like he's a bigger Tatum, in a sense that like if he gets the ball control, he's a big forward that can shoot off the dribble and attack the basket and use his size to his advantage. But you're right, like he also then depends on off-ball cutting and some spot-up 3-point shots still. So yeah, I personally definitely wouldn't be using Dirk, because I think Dirk's a completely different player. But I can see some Bird, especially when we talk about like his shooting. And maybe some on-ball ability, but like I said, I decided to go with Tatum as like a different option. I agree, Monta's handles were not tight tonight, contributed to blown layup and dunk opportunities. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Bird wasn't known for shot blocking, speed, or defense, nor cutting. So yeah, like forget the defensive aspect though of what Miggs was saying. Like forget that. But I'm just talking about like his Bouz's offensive game. But like yes, I agree that like in terms of defense, that Bird was not any of these things. I completely agree. Also, he scores off cuts or open threes by far at the moment. The ISO game is something, but it's not his thing yet. No, I agree. But like in terms of what he can maybe become with his ability to handle, I think he can get there in terms of his on-ball ability. But we will see. It's gonna be something that we gotta look at later. I looked at pace stats. I guess you'd call them yesterday, and I think I spotted my biggest issue. Kobe might need to fix when /Y slower starts scoring. Oh, really? What were the pace? I want to look at the pace stats then. Really, Knicks were just hot from three tonight. The Bulls definitely helped them there though. Like not getting the offensive rebound and kicking it back out to open 3-point shot. That's on the Bulls, right? Like there was definitely some moments in just half-court defense where the Bulls just were not doing a good enough job to try to get the contest up, and that's on them. So like yeah, the Knicks were hot, but like also like you need to do a lot better job tonight. Sees that shooting percentage is way higher if taken before 18 seconds remain on the shot clock, and still high before 15 seconds remain on the shot clock. Kobe historically annoyed me pace-wise with how often he would dribble and only get the ball over half court, 18 seconds left alone a shot off, so opposition defense is set. I think at least 2 thick post-ups he looked to pass a while, and nobody moved to a passing line. He should wait longer, but also they need to move to be open sooner. Last fast break points tonight, a big issue to me that partly just from the defensive effort, boxing out rebounds and defense. Yeah, and so again, if you don't get the defensive rebound, you can't really get transition opportunities. And the Bulls, they had 19 fast break points, but I think they could have had more if they just had better defensive effort. Our second best guard rebounded to getting in the league, assuming Simmons is out. Now I look at Hart as a forward with the way that they play him. Like he to me is like he's kind of like played like Javonte Green was here. And Javonte Green was a forward. But yeah, if we're gonna count him as a guard, then sure. But still, though, you do not you should not be giving up 3 offensive rebounds the way you did tonight to Josh Hart. It's just unacceptable, in my opinion. The Bulls have like big enough guys out there. Like it shouldn't be an issue. Again, Giddey All-Star Dream still alive though. It definitely is alive. Yeah, Giddey. I mean, the Bulls didn't lose tonight because of Giddey, but like he was great tonight. I'm not mad at Giddey at all. But yeah, the effort tonight though, like, and this includes Giddey. Unfortunately, just defensive effort tonight was just bad. The rebounding effort, this is not really on Giddey's fault, but like a lot of people were not rebounding the ball effectively tonight. So we gotta be better, guys. For sure, getting back defensively to B-Cell was a big good point. I mean, bro, I'm gonna show you some sets here or some plays here that are just like, guys, like. I'm not saying you need to stop this transition opportunity here, but like you got to be better. Like I'm asking just for better effort. Like you can't just give up an easy layup like sometimes they just did. Not to harp on Kobe, but that's up in historical issues I have had with him and on that end. No, I agree, but I mean the Bulls I think need his offense. So but that's some nice cuts and movement after faking a screen. He clearly looked annoyed first half. No, yeah, I mean he had some horrible fouls. Like. It's hard for me to be like, oh, like, you know, like I could tell you're annoyed, but then like he also commits like some terrible fouls. So he's got to be better, unfortunately. Could see the third foul coming? Oh, for sure. Yeah, like we definitely could see the third foul was coming after Herter's second foul was terrible. Yeah. Next commentary is like Billy should get him out before he can again after the second commentating on him needing to cool off. Yeah. I think Billy did a good job just benching him for the rest of the half. You know, a tough game overall, but like the reason why there was fouls tonight was because the effort wasn't there tonight. Like, hence why guys were just willing to just be like, all right, foul, like instead of actually trying to be good defensively. I would much rather you try to get back into the play instead of you just fouling somebody, and you know, getting these guys closer to the bonus. Like we don't need guys to just come in and just be closer to the bonus. That's just not something we need. Yeah. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go into some film stuff now. It's gonna be pretty short, but I do want to show some things that I'm like, we gotta be better, guys. Like, just straight up, this just has to be better. And it's gonna be again. I'm gonna be pointing out reminder to everybody. Okay. I'm gonna be pointing out to some individuals tonight that like in the plays specifically where I'm like, I gotta see better effort or whatever. But like this goes as a whole to the squad. Okay. If we're truly gonna be if we're gonna be all about this as a team, right? Like it's, you know, win by committee, right? Then we're gonna be saying to everyone, like, we're gonna be criticizing everybody as a squad. So I will be like individually pointing out some things against some individual players, but it's going to be, you know, pointing things out as a whole for the team tonight, because tonight just as a whole the defensively was not good, and so everyone should be looking like, hey, we got to be better after this. But I do also have some pretty cool offensive plays I want to show you, so we will talk about that when it gets to that time. All right, let's pull up some plays here. So in the first quarter, Jalen Brunson had an insane first quarter. Okay, I'm sure that we all remember this. Brunson was just like, it felt like we just couldn't stop him for whatever reason, and part of the reason why was because the Bulls were not picking him up in transition for whatever goddamn reason. I just don't know why. I like, Brunson's the best player on the floor for the Knicks, so like I honestly don't understand what the whole idea was for you to not be picking him up in transition, but it is something that I'm like, at least in my opinion, and don't get me wrong, again, I think Brunson is a very tough player to guard, but the effort in transition needs to be there if you're going to be trying to win these games. Okay, just straight up, it just has to be there. And unfortunately, early in that first quarter, it was not there for the Bulls, and it led to many instances where Brunson was just going in for easy shots. So to start off with this play here, again, I don't know why, it baffles me, but this is what was happening tonight. So that's gonna honestly probably end my transition talk, but it is what it is. It's unfortunate to see this. Let's see. Imagine Matas with fadeaway. I would love to see Buzelis get a fadeaway, but it's a tough shot to get. Yeah, good point. Brunson need to be guarding transition every time. Yeah, we missed out on his defense as well as his offense. He would have probably guarded Brunson for a good amount of time. I mean, I said this earlier in the stream, but we definitely missed Io in that first quarter where Herder was trying to guard him, was trying to guard Brunson. Like, I mean, like, Herder's been good defensively to start the season, but that's a tough task. And so, yeah, we definitely just missed Io just to have another body to throw at Brunson. And like, he did a good enough job in that first game against Brunson. And like, I think Io's done pretty well overall in terms of his defense, but even if you like don't, like, you could just tell that it's like, you just need a guy like him with a large wingspan and the speed to keep up with him. Like, you definitely were missing him tonight. Future hope is Booze to be that in transition defense, but for that he needs to be on the elbow to be able to get back fast enough, not a corner. So I guess it nees transition defensive guard. Oh, it has to be, yeah. It's not Boozelis that needs to get back. It's these other guys that have to get back. Yeah, well, Io's nearest to that transition D. Probably he would be. Yeah, I think Vooch was trying to get double team for a pass out on the open shot, but the Knicks didn't bite. Yeah, but I still though I don't understand the post-up idea, because if you're wondering about the post-up idea, right, like, it doesn't really do anything besides hurt the Bulls on that specific play. Like, and here's why. So, once again to show this, right, like, yeah, the idea is for, I'll play this a little bit more, but like, the idea, yeah, is like, okay, if you're able to get a double team here, then it would, you know, collapse the defense in a sense. But here's the problem, even with Vucevic getting a double team in this scenario, okay? So let's say, for example, if let's say Boozelis was here and Mikal Bridges decides a double team, right? So in that instance, then Boozelis should be open here in a sense, but OG Anunoby takes Boozelis, okay? Cat then goes to Giddey, right? And then Brunson is then going to be guarding these two guys, and whichever way the ball goes to, that's the guy that he's guarding, okay? So, you know, let's say the Bulls try to swing this out. So, ball goes to Boozelis, OG Anunoby comes on over, then Cat takes Giddey, and then Brunson takes Okoro. But then as this is happening, after that ball is released, then you're going to be seeing Mikal Bridges run all the way over here to the corner and take Trey Jones in the corner, right? Now, yeah, it's nice to get that sort of ball movement, but the problem that I always talk about is that the center, the shot blocker, gets to just sit here, right? The reason why it's so ineffective is because the shot blocker doesn't have to do anything, right? Now, if it's the other way around, where it's like, okay, let's say, for example, you have Brunson is here guarding Nikola Vucevic, right? And he is like, hey, I need help, right? And so the closest person to come over and help is Mikal Bridges, right? But then that's going to leave someone like Mitchell Robinson over here to have to guard guys in the perimeter. That's where it's more effective, right? That's where it's, I completely understand, yeah, when you post up Vucevic, you absolutely try to force a double team, but then you're making a big man on the perimeter have to run around and try to follow these guys, right? But if it's a post up with a center, it's ineffective, because the center gets to just sit here guarding Vucevic and staying on the big man the entire time, right? And then whoever comes over to help is going to be the guy that's going to be trying to help and recover, right? So to me, I just don't understand this thought process. Like, there's no reason for the Bulls with 12 seconds left on the shot clock to be resorting to a Vucevic post fadeaway against Mitchell Robinson. It just doesn't make any sense, right? Like, this right here does not matter. Okay, well, and so, you know, Boozelis clears out this way. So either way, it's still the same idea, right? You still have then, if Anunoby comes on over, then Cat takes Giddey, and then Brunson takes Okoro, right? And then Bridges is going to be taking between these two guys who gets the ball. But then Anunoby, once that ball is thrown out, right? Once Vucevic gets rid of this ball, then Anunoby's going to be running over to this corner here. So you allow the perimeter guys to stay on the perimeter and run around, right? But that's ineffective, because then Mitchell Robinson gets just to stay here. That's not what we want. So yeah, I've been adamant about this with Vucevic because he's not Jokic. Like, if this is Embiid, it's a different story, right? If it's Jokic, it's a different story. These guys just, they score on anybody, and it just doesn't matter. But when it comes to Vuce, like, his stats in the post have never been that good besides last season. And last season, I honestly think that it, unfortunately, is something I just can't trust. Like, a lot of his post-ups were against mismatches, so, like, good job there. But he wasn't scoring effectively against the big man. So we need to just get rid of this idea. So I was not happy to see this early on, but, you know, it's one play. All right, moving on, though. We got to talk about some other transition defense. yeah, one more transition defensive play, and then we'll talk about one play where I think that the lack of, you just kind of see the lack of overall focus from the Bulls defensively was just not there tonight, which is frustrating to see. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm playing the video. We're almost there. Okay, here we go. So let's watch this, right? Like, an easy dunk out of it. Like, this is bad defense in transition. We cannot allow this. And this is not even a fast break opportunity. This is just a simple, hey, we're going to bring it up the court after a rebound. And, oh, look at that. Two guys went to Jalen Brunson like 40 feet away from the basket. And, all right, here you go. Little dump off pass. Like, I don't understand this. This is just unacceptable by the Bulls tonight. Yeah, just bad overall. All right. Next play that I want to talk about. That's where I remember this. Okay. I was like, oh yeah, this is broadcast got messed up. Yeah, I saw that and thought this was bad communication. Yeah, it's just bad, awful. And again, like, I'm not necessarily blaming like someone individually. I'm just saying that these two guys have to communicate, or just the team as a whole have to communicate better. Because even in the previous one I showed you, where it's like Brunson got a wide open 3-point shot out of it, it's like that's just still communication. That's like Okoro and Buzelis didn't know who they're guarding, and these are things that can be avoided. Okay, like this is not talking about the personnel on the squad. This is talking about, hey, are you talking defensively? Like, we can just be better, guys. They either need to press up a double Brunson near the line, Giddey switch back to his normal mark, or try to switch off, given he could see Giddey was there. Yeah, someone's got to just do something, right? Call it out, right? And honestly, I think Trey Jones in that aspect should be saying like, no, I got him, or we got to switch, right? Either one. Someone's just got to say it, and it probably should be Trey Jones because he can see the entire play, but someone's got to do it. Okay? And the rest of the team kind of watch that breakdown, yeah, and no one's willing to come over and help. Which, I mean, at that point, it's already so broken that I'm not gonna be upset at the rest of the squad. Well, it seemed like they had no energy tonight. They just didn't. Like, from many aspects, not just like, you know, offensively, but all like defensively, they just seemed like their heads weren't in it tonight for some reason. Yeah, it's frustrating. All right. Unfortunately, this is one though that I do have. So the Bulls decide on this clear out. Okay, this is gonna be a clear out drag screen for the New York Knicks, right? And so you see here, because Brunson's so up high, Vucevic decides to come over and help, which then means Patrick Williams, who's guarding OG, okay, Patrick Williams was on OG Anunoby, has to come on over and pre-rotate, okay? And so he's doing everything right, okay? Now Buzelis is also fine. He's supposed to stay here. Now, as this is happening, right, then Giddey has to make sure that whichever way the ball goes, he picks up that guy, okay? So if the ball goes to OG, he runs to OG, Patrick takes Hart, okay? But if it's the other way around, he still has to find a way to pick up the guy. And you're going to see here that Patrick is still here in help position because Cat has to step on Vooch defensively, right? And you see Giddey is too far sunk in at this point because the help's here. Like, I don't know why Giddey decided to sink in this way, but the help's already here. Like, Pat's here. And so, again, Giddey needs to go to whoever gets the ball, whether it's Hart, whether it's OG, but Hart decides to do the 40. So it's just an overall like defensive issue. It's not all on Giddey, but it's like he just needs to be aware that he sunk too far in. Like, there's no reason for him to help there because Patrick's already there. Like, Patrick's already there to help. So I don't know why Giddey's sinking in further into the paint. It's just something that he just needs to be aware of. Like, okay, like that's my man. He got the ball. Like, we can't allow that sort of cut to happen. Yeah, that's that play. I'll blame Giddey on that one because he should have never gone over. Yeah, Bulls were playing so well that I was thinking about getting me the up-tempo 95 Chicago's. Oh my god, what do those look like? That's a name. Ooh, Nike Air Max. You talking about these, Wootage? Is this what you're talking about? Well, I mean, as a person that, even though I'm not the biggest into shoes, like this looks honestly pretty fire. These honestly look pretty fire. Yeah, these look pretty nice. I like these shoes. Like the bottoms look cool. Like I like the overall design. It's clean. Like these are pretty nice. I'm not overall a shoe person, but if I ever get shoes, it has to be simple, clean, and nothing too flashy. But like these are like the nice mix of like it's simple enough, but with the nice red to kind of bring its pop out a little bit. So that's nice. That'd be cool. You're worn by Pippen and Kukoc. Oh, that's awesome. I like that. All right. Okay. Next play. So I want to talk about this next play here to show the lack of 3-point defense by the Bulls. Okay. So like I've shown you a bunch of stuff where the paint was just getting wrecked by the Bulls, right? Where either in transition or it's, hey, we're getting cut here. This has to just be better. And so like you can tell that the paint defense wasn't as good, even if the numbers kind of don't really show that. But I want to show you a play where we see where the 3-point defense, like it breaks down, right? And so let's watch this play here that I'm slowly pulling up. I do apologize. Watch this, okay? Like I'm not really sure what everyone's thinking here, but like maybe I'll have to rewatch this and get some clarity later. And so you're gonna be seeing this sort of action here for the New York Knicks, where Brunson's gonna set potentially what looks like zoom action, and you're gonna see OG is just gonna kind of come on over and curl with it, and so Brunson comes back up, and so now you're in like a drag set, okay? Now, as this play happens, okay, it's clear out. It's clear or empty drag, pretty much. Okay. Now, I understand that Giddey has to come on over here to try to take away Cat, right? Because the whole point that people are afraid about at this play is like, hey, as I continue to play here, right? Like, okay, Vucevic had to help out. P. Will's here, right? Like, Giddey has to take Cat. Now, if this is the case, right, then Trey Jones needs to like be playing up here or something, because Mikal Bridges is open, right? But I'm also aware that like, hey, this is also an issue, that if Brunson decides to make this cross-court pass, right, then Trey Jones needs to be close enough to get this cross-court pass or be able to contest this 3-point shot. So like, I'm not really entirely sure what exactly the Bulls are supposed to be doing here. But in all honesty, I feel like the Bulls should just be switching. But I'm not entirely sure, because now what happens is that it reverses back, and you're gonna see that Giddey and Vucevic are both running out to Cat, okay? And so because of that, Cat decides to throw the ball to Bridges, and you're gonna get a wide open 3-point shot out of it. So again, I'm not entirely sure what the exact idea should be here for the Bulls. I have some thoughts. But you see here what happened, that you're seeing like Vooch is like running back out to Cat. Giddey's also on Cat. Therefore, this guy's wide open, who was initially Giddey's man, and wide open 3-point look, right? So there's a couple of things. So let's watch this play again. And here's what I'm going to suggest, right? So it's either that you need to just switch this, okay? And you live with the result. Which, if you don't want to do that, I get it, but like you kind of are kind of committed to this anyway. Like, you can just kind of switch this and I'd be all right. If you're not, okay, and this is the defense that you're gonna be running to, okay, then what needs to happen is Vooch needs to take the guy in the interior, right? And Giddey takes Cat, as he did. Trey Jones needs to take Mikal Bridges, and then you're gonna have to see again. This is after once the pass is thrown out, okay, and I'll show you when it needs to happen. And then Okoro is going to have to take OG Anunoby. All right. So just to show you when I'm looking for this, right? So like as this is all happening right now, right? I'm looking for maybe Trey Jones has to go here, and then Vooch is going to take McBride, and you see a Okoro go out to Anunoby if necessary. Maybe that's what we need to do. Like, maybe. But I just, this is just upsetting to me because I feel like no one really knew what to do. Yeah, it's interesting to talk about, but either way though, if I'm confused, then like I'm sure these guys are confused, right? So it's frustrating just to see this because I feel like this needs to be figured out here. Yeah, once again, the reason why I kept saying this is a learning opportunity from this game is because of plays like this, right? We can learn now after we watch this film that, hey, we got to figure this out, right? If we're going to see empty drag screen over here, and it's going to be with like someone like Brunson and Cat, so someone that can obviously be a dynamic ball handler, and then the screener can pick and pop, right? So what's going to be our game plan from this, right? So this is where we can be, you know, get a good learning experience from this game. And I'm hoping to see if the Bulls can figure this out. So again, I have my suggestion. Either you just switch it, or you talk about what I said, which is, again, Giddey did everything right, but Trey Jones needs to go on to Mikal Bridges, and then Vucevic, when McBride is here, Vooch takes the guy down low, Okoro goes out to Anunoby. Just to show you how this is how tough defense is in the NBA because of all the three-point shooting. But still, you gotta find a way because this is too simple, right? This is way too simple for Mikal Bridges. Vooch probably should have stayed at the post and the rest rotate. Yeah, that's a plan. Yeah. You can kill me that none of my shoes are the Bulls related ones. I only have one, so I'm not gonna kill you, honestly. I'm not a big shoe collector. I wear shoes until they like break. So I don't blame you. And the Jokic pepper pigs are the leaning sunshine state so pretty. I got 3 pairs of weapons: Jordan Stay Loyal 3s and Jordan 11 Cup for Lows. Oof, God, man. Those I know obviously I've seen Jordan 11s, but I don't know about the Stay Loyal 3s. That's new to me. Bulls are switching like crazy the first 5 games, but didn't switch enough in this game. So yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily always about switching, right? It's also about rotating effectively, but like, yeah, switching, especially on ball, is very important. That limits paint points, right? And so that is important. Vooch probably no communication again. Yep, with you, as I probably should happen there. Bulls definitely have a big defensive issue from lack of communication often. I don't know who is the defensive voice, but someone needs to take that on. No Trey, as he is an on-ball guard mostly, but someone has to take it, right? And the problem is that the Bulls bench is not here, right? Like, this isn't the Bulls bench, this is the Knicks bench, right? So I don't like, there's no communication from the bench to be like, oh hey, like do this. So yeah. Ira Giddey is yelling on offense a lot at some of the streams, though. It's mostly yelling for someone to cut. Yeah, I have seen him, like, I have seen some moments, like, I don't always hear it with Giddey, but, like, there's definitely moments where he's bringing it up and he'll just go like this. Be like, yo, move. Like, go. Like, and I appreciate that. Like, it makes people move. I too wear till break, though. I burn a pair every 3 months from Sport and have 5 pairs at a time. That makes a lot of sense, yeah. I usually have like 2 pairs I'm wearing every now, like, you know, daily. And like I'll switch, but right now I'm only on 1 because I'm being lazy. But I mean, I don't know. I like Hoka's a lot. So yeah. I burn no grip left. Yeah, I definitely get you there. I know that feeling for sure with a shoe that has no grip at all. Yeah, I understand completely. Yeah. Here's just an example of just the Bulls 3-point defense tonight, which is like, it's not necessarily that like, oh hey, guys like weren't closing out effectively on some guys. Like, there was definitely some of those moments, but it's like the defense rotations didn't know what they were doing tonight. The defense was getting caught off on certain actions that they're like, oh shit, like what do we do? And then this is exact certain play where it's like, okay, well what are we gonna do, guys? We need to figure this out. So again, learning experience tonight. This is an important play to kind of break down where you're gonna be looking at, you know, this sort of like, hey, it looks like zoom action. Okay, no longer this. Then it's gonna be a simple empty drag. So, and when I say empty drag, that means that no one's in the corner. Okay, and so you're gonna be seeing pick and roll in this area of the floor. You're gonna have 3 guys, right, on the weak side, So you need to figure out what to do, especially if there's a screener like Karl-Anthony Towns who can shoot the basketball. So learn from this, get better from this, and we'll hopefully figure this out moving forward. My 2 pairs of Jordans were on clearance and were the only pairs that fit my feet comfortably. My 3 weapons were $37.47 each due to huge sale at the Labors, Magic, Alternates, and Unk Blues. Ooh, man, you have an absolute collection then. And honestly, getting shoes at that price for honestly just in general is great. So yeah, you did a hell of a job getting shoes at that price. Yeah, that's cool. Unfortunately I don't know like off the top of my head of what those all look like, but obviously I recognize the name, so that's cool. Yeah, unfortunately again, I'm just not a shoe. I'm not a shoe guy. Shoes are expensive. Oh, for sure, bro. It's annoying as hell. Economy, man. Who's my situate best to be the voice once he grabs help defense better, etc.? I would hope so. But this is kind of where we've talked about this, Charles, where it's like we kind of feel like we need just like a good defensive center, right? Like having that sort of like defensive voice in the back end that you always know is in the back end is like, it would really help. So if it's not Buzelis that's gonna become it, right? It's gonna have to be someone else maybe that has to come into this team. Because like as good of a defender Coral is, I don't think he's gonna be yelling this out, right? I know Giddey's been pretty vocal this season, but like I don't know if he's gonna be yelling this out either. And this guy doesn't really speak. And Trey Jones seems to be on ball, so it's like, yeah, someone has to do this at some point. Okay, you'd be shocked by my style of shoes then if you don't know. Very not Bulls fan. Bright colors. Oh, I see. Yeah, my shoes are gray. If you want to know, my shoes are just basically gray and black. They're definitely not non-Bulls colors, so that is definitely very different. Good defensive center would just be it, yeah. Someone that's good defensive center that can do a lot of things, but then also be very vocal. That would really help. Bulls need a young big because Vucevic is in his mid-30s. I completely agree. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Vucevic has played really well to start the season. But it's just like, it's just this whole discussion about the Bulls moving forward here. It's like, well, like I do not want Vucevic to come back. Like I would ideally trade him, but it's like I understand though that a lot of people are looking at Vucevic right now and be like, hey, he's played pretty well, especially with this unit. He's been a big reason why we've had all these wins to start, and I agree. I'm just saying though that like in terms of like the future outlook, like, you know, re-signing Vucevic just doesn't sound like a good plan because it eats into your potential salary cap space this offseason. And so I'm not here to say that like, oh, there's better options on the market, because there's not. But like, I think you can find ways to figure out your center issues moving forward. And that's not me saying to bring back Collins either, because you have to also get rid of Collins if you want the cap space this offseason. But you can probably find some other way here to maybe figure out your defense, your center moving forward. And yes, they're probably not going to be as offensively talented as Vucevic is. But I don't think he needs to be. Gray and black is exactly what I would expect. Oh yeah, that's that's definitely me. It's, if you look at the shirts I wear, you look at, you know, what's in my room right now. It's a gray wall with black curtains. The Larry Bird Converse weapons are just black and white. Magic had the colorful ones. Oh, okay. Honestly, I think I actually know the Magic Converse. Then let me see this. Oh yeah, okay. I definitely have seen this shoe. I don't know if I could like tell you right off the spot that like, oh yeah, this is Magic's, but like I have definitely seen this shoe. I think like on NBA TV or something like that. Yeah, this definitely this I recognize this. Now you said Larry Bird Converse. Okay, I see. So like they are pretty similar. Couldn't tell you honestly. This, yeah, if I saw this shoe, I'm like, what? Like, interesting, yeah. Isaiah Stewart is the only young center I can think of off the top of my head. I'm not personally looking to go and trade for somebody right now, but we will probably get to that at some point, yeah. Also, Also, like Collins Gill, I want center under 23 years old for the future. That'd be ideal if, you know, at least 25 or younger. I would like to see, but I know we can't always get everything we want here. Yeah, that'd be ideal. Pepper Pig Jokic 360s for the win. I gotta see this. Hold on. I've never heard of the shoe, honestly, Charles. That this is like ridiculously new to me. So again, not a shoe guy. Oh my god. Oh, what is this? Yo, what? This is what you're rocking? Oh my god. This is definitely very colorful. Wow. Honestly, like, it doesn't look that bad in terms of how the shoe is, like, built and everything. I wouldn't wear this because of the color, but all right. Honestly, interesting. That's an actual bright. Yeah, it's very bright. Yeah, it's very bright shoe. The purple and white magic weapons, which he wore for a handful of times. Oh, that's cool. I understand, man. I definitely am not the biggest fan of the Converse, I will say, but I also understand that a lot of people appreciate them. So yeah. Need me younger because of lifespan on them and need for stars still for Bulls. Oh, gotcha. Peppa Pig is a big deal. I know Peppa Pig is a big deal. I understand that. I understand Peppa Pig is a big deal. Yep. This is this is funny though. Hey, Peppa Pig, like, it's, I can't believe actually how big it is. Like, it's very funny to me. But hey, honestly, pretty decent show. Commerce weapons are so comfortable now. They improved the comfort in them. Oh, okay, cool. That's cool to know. Yeah, I've never worn Commerce in my life, honestly. Leaning is the Wade shoes. Oh, you know what? I should have known that, honestly. I don't know why I did not know that. I can't type, bro. Oh wow. Okay. So is it this one? Is it this one you're rocking then, Charles? It's this one? Oh man, this is very this is very bright. This is very orange. I rock a bright pink mouthguard from Muay Thai fights. Oh man. Okay. I'm getting your drip now. I honestly I understand the type of drip you're looking for, you know, all your equipment and everything. Pink shoes? Oh, you went with the pink shoes. Okay. You got the All City ones. Oh, the All City Sunshine set. Got it. Okay. Yeah, still pretty bright, but less bright. Less bright than the Peppa Pig ones. Would I wear these? Probably not. They're too bright for me. I don't really want people looking at my feet, honestly. I'm just like, no, just ignore my shoes. Pastel pink? Oh, okay. Reebok question yellow toes as well. Oh. God, Reebok? Talking about this one? Ah, I mean, yeah, I get it. If you're a basketball fanatic, I definitely get this. Like, it looks pretty good. Would I wear this? Probably not. Oh, you wore that shoe? Oh, okay. I did not know that, honestly. That's cool. Waddles are the new Giddy ones. Oh, really? Is that the name of the shoe brand, or is that just the name of the shoe? Waddles. Well, they released well for Giddy season starting strong of the shoe. Oh, I mean, yeah, like I've seen Giddy shoes out there. They're very bright. But yeah, I mean, it is good timing. Your name? Okay, got it. Owen Waddle is the national flower of Australia. Oh, okay. See, I'm learning things. Never knew, honestly. Never knew that at all. Otis is contracted by Reebok. I also did not know that. Wait, what? I didn't even know he signed a shoe deal. Okay, that's also news to me. I mean, I know Reebok's stepping up their game recently, so that'd be cool if he can find a way to get a signature shoe. Demontis will have very Bulls on point shoe at some point. I hope so. I mean, yeah, Chicago area product. Clean red and white one. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'd be all for it. Okay. Okay. 2 more plays, y'all. I want to do 2 more plays defensively. I want to show one good play that I'm like loving to see the Bulls are running, and then we'll end the film. All right, stick with me, y'all. I do want to make sure I get this in. Yeah, I appreciate all the shoe talk, but I want to make sure we get to this here. Okay, so this is third quarter. Yeah, I mean, it was honestly not good. No good defense from the Bulls throughout most of this game, but third quarter was also pretty atrocious. So I don't know, honestly. I just don't know which is the right thing, and if I'm confused, then these guys are confused, right? How did Giddey end up on Brunson, not Hart there? So if the play, it's a good job by the Knicks because it's screen. You see Giddey's on Hart right now, right? But then you're gonna see Brunson come on over and also set a screen, okay? Or sorry, it's a little handoff. My bad. My bad. I completely messed up. I thought it was that you're gonna see this here, but anyway, yeah, it's just a handoff. But yeah. Like, I'm fine with that switch, honestly. It's not ideal, right? But, like, I'm honestly, like, okay with it. But no matter what, I just don't know what the plan was here. Like, I'm confused. Like, if this was supposed to be a switch here, which it seems like it honestly, I guess it's supposed to be, then, like, yeah, I guess this is honestly Vooch saying switch, like, right here. Like, he's pointing switch. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But if you're Giddey, then you gotta be here. Like, you gotta be attached to Cat. You can't let him just get this lane. But if it's not, which I don't think it was supposed to be, but maybe it was, like, again, I'm not sure, then someone's gotta come on over. Whether it's, I think it's supposed to be Herder, but if it's not Herder, then someone's gotta come on over. This is unacceptable. So this is too simple of a dunk for Cat here. Also reminds me of Baron Davis. Due to his build, Baron Davis, huh? Yeah, honestly, I don't know what I would compare Brunson to. Like, Brunson's a very interesting guard. You know, communication on the play. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Unfortunately, I'm not like as familiar with Baron Davis's game. Like, I'm aware who Baron Davis is, but like I didn't watch him, or I didn't watch a lot of him, so I'm not really entirely sure. Looks like they started one way, then they changed minds, seeing that others hasn't responded probably as nobody talked about it. Yeah. Maybe. It's just bad. This, again, just a showing of just like, where's the Bulls defense tonight? I'm very confused with what we saw tonight. Now, let's go and then talk about my final play here. And this is just the epitome of what I think was happening tonight. This play here, it just is a nutshell of what I was really upset with when it comes to the Bulls. Now, this is obviously not good, but the Knicks got the ball in quickly and the Bulls are just trying to adjust. right? So obviously we're already off to a terrible start because Giddey should not be on Brunson. Okay, it should be a Coro, it should be on Brunson, but it just the way that the Knicks got the ball on that quickly, the Bulls just had to match up to whoever they could. So here's this play, and it breaks down immediately because Brunson gets a step on Giddey, and so I'm not gonna be too critical of Giddey here. I would like to see better effort overall, but I'm not gonna be too critical of him here. Okay, because this does not end up in a layup. As at least Giddey's still trying to stick with them, and P. Will comes on over, right? And so because of this is a paint touch, okay? It leads to then a wide open 3-point shooter, right? Because all of a sudden now we have two guys on Jalen Brunson looking at Brunson, right? You have Patrick Williams and Josh Giddey both on Jalen Brunson, and Isaac Okoro is now sinking in, try to help out this because Herter is now getting back screened. And so this leaves Josh Hart wide open. Now, to give Bulls some credit, if there is a guy to shoot this shot, I would like for it to be Josh Hart. Okay? And so this is honestly a pretty decently well-contested shot from Patrick Williams to come and close it out. It's not ideal. He got some space, but hey, if someone's going to shoot it, it's Josh Hart. So fine. You let that happen. Now, unfortunately, this is what's happening here. Bad bounce. I'll give you that. But someone's got to be here. Like, all three guys in the restricted area, someone's got to be here. Okay? And I think Giddey was doing a really good job in the first half of like kind of being in this area of the floor to get these rebounds. But right now he obviously was not in that spot. So Okoro, like I don't know. Maybe it just has to be Pat not just running out and trying to leak out here. But someone's gotta get this rebound. Okay? So the Knicks get the rebound. And what did I talk about this game? Okay, what has been killing the Bulls this game? Offensive rebound. This is the game, right? This is just the epitome of like, okay, well, we had a defensive possession. It was honestly like, okay, in this sort of aspect. We got the miss. We forced the 3-point shooter and we forced Josh Hart to be a 3-point shooter. He missed. We didn't get the offensive rebound. It leads to an open 3-point shot because offensive rebounds lead to 3-point shots. Okay. Defense collapses in to get the rebound. It gets spread back out to the 3-point line. Brunson's wide open. All right. So once again, it's a learning moment, but I'm just concerned a little bit because I feel like the Bulls need to show that it's not just going to be Giddey and Vucevic on the boards. Okay. Like these guys have done a lot of the work already in terms of defensive rebounding, but I look at who's out on the court right now. This guy is 6'6". This guy is 6'4". This guy is 6'6". You have the size. Like there should be no reason for you guys to be fighting for these rebounds. None. You should be fighting for these rebounds easily. So bad bounce in a sense, but also like it seems like it's just now normal, especially on 3-point shots, that someone has to be here defensively. Like someone has to be here to get the defensive rebound if it ends up, ricocheting off the rim into here. Like you have to be here. So pretty much I think this was like a definition of just like, yeah, this is the game. Like this is what was happening throughout most of this game. We couldn't secure a defensive rebound on like a decent overall defensive possession, and it led to open 3-point looks for the New York Knicks. So the whole idea of like, yeah, like the percentages for the Bulls, early on, I won't lie, the teams have not punished the Bulls when it comes to open 3-point looks so far. Now, I have been giving the Bulls credit for that because they've limited the amount of open looks teams are getting. But still, teams were not shooting very well from 3-point range when it came to wide open looks for them. So after tonight, I do think that it should be definitely going, it should be going back to kind of normal here. But I just don't want it to balloon suddenly to where it's like teams are shooting like 50% on like wide open 3-point looks or something like that consistently throughout the season. And then teams start also hitting some of these tightly contested threes because that's the level of shooting we have in this league where you can contest the best you can, but teams are just gonna be able to make them. Players are just insanely good at shooting threes at this point. So I'm hoping that we are gonna be able to, moving forward, limit the amount of open threes that teams are getting, but specifically making sure that if we get a stop, we get the miss, We gotta get the rebound, bro. This team is way too big to not be getting the rebound. Just straight up. Just cannot happen. So yeah, that's gonna end the defensive film today. I want to show one play on offense that the Bulls are starting to run, and then we will be done with film for the day. And hopefully I don't get copyrighted, which I'm gonna guess that I'm probably going to. I've shown a lot of film today. You look like you expected someone to contest the shot. Oh, you're talking about the previous play. I mean, yeah, but still, it's if he's switching, then you can't let you can't separate from Cat. You gotta stay connected. Brunson is maybe closer to Chunky. Kyrie, not that good, but I don't know who else is closer to the dribble heavy play. Like, Brunson, in a sense, kind of reminds me, like, don't take this the wrong way. What I'm about to say is not, like, these two games are completely different because Brunson's ability to shoot and everything. But, like, the way that Rondo would dribble around in the paint and, like, kind of do all these fakes, like, he kind of reminds me how Rondo would kind of, like, he'll, like, you know, dribble in hard and, like, kind of fake it, right? Like, Rondo was really good at that. And Brunson has that in his game. But, like, I agree, like, after that, like, it's not as smooth as Kyrie, obviously. And Brunson is, you know, very good with his angles and, you know, working, like, in the mid-post area. Like, he's very good in that sort of aspect. So, like, I just don't really know how to really explain Brunson. It's very weird. He's turned into a very effective player, and I never would have thought he would. But, yeah, it is definitely very interesting. Not saying anything like Kyrie handles, of course. Yeah, Kyrie's handles are otherworldly. He's probably the best ball handler I've ever seen. So, Yo made a good help move at least there. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Zion in shape and the Pels still can't win any games. The Pelicans are honestly in a horrible spot right now. I don't know what the hell they're gonna be doing. No pick this season. You're winless. Derek Queen, who you traded up to, is not playing for some reason. I'm very confused. So I don't know what they're doing. Pels had a good roster 2 seasons ago when he was injured and let it all go before he managed to make it back. Yeah. I don't know what the Pelicans are doing, honestly. They have a lot of questions, you know. Kind of makes sense. Yeah, I again, don't take it the wrong way, because it's just like Rondo is a very different player than Brunson, but like the way that Rondo, I just remember, would like dribble in and like he'll fake around in the paint. He was pretty shifty as well, but Brunson's just different. Sense. How long till Zion demands to be traded again? I don't know. I mean, has he even demanded a trade? It's like I don't think we can say again when he hasn't been traded in the first place. But I don't remember a demand of a trade from him. Maybe I'm just wrong. Demanding dribble lines. The Brunson has his weakness players he can't score on for shit though. Dyson has held him down a bunch of games. Oh, I definitely agree. Like his lack of height in those sort of instances has definitely hurt him in those aspects. But still though, when you're averaging 31 points per game, I'm not gonna really question you too much. That's why you need help. You need help. You need help around this guy. And in theory, the Knicks should have it. Strong dribble might be a better phrasing. Yeah. I think that's probably better phrasing overall. Okay. All right. I want to show a play now that I'm starting to recognize for the Bulls, and they're running for a lot of people. And so this is offense here for the Bulls, and it's the typical what we love when it comes to the Spain action for this Bulls squad, but it's like it's not fully Spain, but it's sort of like it's pretty much Spain. Like you can call it stack in a sense, recovery, and he gets a 3-point shot. So we've seen this from Kevin Huerter. Like Kevin Huerter is like where Buzelis is. And I'm gonna assume we're gonna see this like when Kobe comes back. So I'm not entirely sure what to call this. Like it is kind of Spain action, but like Spain would be kind of down here more where Buzelis would be instead. But it's kind of just like double screen in a sense, but it's stacked up to be angled a little bit. So it's a cool play. I appreciate it from the Bulls. Hope to see something, you know, just more instances of it. It'd be really interesting. Or sorry. Need a fast defender for Brunson. Tall, lengthy, tall, fast defender for Brunson. Got it. Yeah, I do agree. I think Brunson is too good when it comes to finding his angles and like using his body. So like if you have a guy his size, it's tough to guard him. But if you have a guy that's bigger than him that can stick with his speed, then you can find ways to be, stopping him in some senses. But it's still tough to guard him, even if you have all the physical tools. Yeah, and Getty didn't often choose to shoot on each other in those matchups. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure why, but yeah. We start get with whatever other mismatch you get generally being better. I guess that's the idea. But like even that play wasn't really a mismatch for Buzelis, but it was open, right? And so Giddey made the right decision to pass to the open guy instead of looking for Smith down low, who had the mismatch. But I'd rather get the open 3-point look, obviously. If I'm remembering correctly, and I might have to do some looking here, so give me 1 second as I go back into the play-by-play for the game. I then believe, if I'm remembering correctly, and I could be 100% wrong,
this is his second year of a 3-year deal.
Okay, yeah. So, I honestly, my brain is interesting. When was this? Shit. Hold on. Okay, God damn it. Hey, can broadcast. Let's see. Is this better? It might be better with the Knicks. Okay, it's somewhat better. It's not. I mean, it's not amazing. But hey, what does this look like? It's by the way, it's not the same time code. The previous play I showed you was later in the quarter. But hey, look. What does this play look like? Screen here, Giddey going this way. Pretty similar. Am I right? This time though, as you can see, that the Knicks do not effectively switch, and so you see that two are on Giddey, one is stuck on a screen from Smith here, and Buzelis is flashing back out to the top of the key, but you can see that McBride goes to guard Buzelis, but no one guards Smith, and so Jalen Smith gets a wide open dunk out of it, and that's what Mike Brown called a timeout. Yeah, it's something that you're gonna definitely be seeing maybe if this is a lineup that's out there with Smith being a little bit more mobile compared to Vooch. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing if we can see some more variations of this. Like, what's the next step, right? Like, what would happen if, let's say, Giddey decides to throw it to Buzelis and like there wasn't like a mismatch formed out of it, and then what does Buzelis do next? Does he hand it back off to Giddey and run like screen roll that way? But it'll be interesting to see. The new stats, Giddey has the third most triple doubles as a Bull of all time. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how many lack of triple doubles there are in the Bulls history with all the great players. But yeah, Giddey's already very much high up there in terms of triple doubles. We'll try to make it a game, but then after a few threes, the Knicks go back up big. Yeah, and it's just lack of defensive effort or not getting the defensive rebound. So yeah, that's a lot of the reason why it ended up like that. All right, y'all. So that's gonna do it though for my coverage of this Bulls versus Knicks game round 2. I'm disappointed overall with the effort. But like I'm not like freaking out like, oh, we lost this one. Like, if the Bulls are facing the Wizards and we happen to lose like this, then yeah, it's like a pretty massive L. It's like, Jesus, guys, like this is unacceptable. But if that's, it's the Knicks, they're a very formidable squad. And they came out and at their home court, they decided to play really well. And so I'll give them props. Bulls could definitely give them a better effort, but it is what it is. So that being said, I'm looking for a better game on Tuesday. Okay, so the Bulls are off tomorrow, but the Bulls will be taking on the Philadelphia 76ers on Tuesday. Now, if I'm not mistaken, okay, yeah, it does not look like we are seeing the 76ers play in a back-to-back here, so I'm going to assume, unless the 76ers play on Wednesday as well, not sure. Okay, they do actually. Okay, I'm interested in seeing what they decide to do here, because there's the argument that you play Embiid for this game instead of you playing Embiid for our game, but I'm not sure what they're going to do. But we will see who's available for this game against us on Tuesday. But they play in a back-to-back, and so we might not see Embiid. But if we don't, then that's a good sign, because Embiid has absolutely killed us in his time, in his career when he's playing against us. So this is something that's going to have to, we'll see what does happen here. But what do we talk about today, right? Offensive rebounding for the opposing squad. We cannot let them get offensive rebounds. The Bulls are typically pretty good at getting the rebounds on the defensive end, but this was not good tonight, okay? Transition defense is key. Tyrese Maxey is one of the fastest players in the league, especially with the ball. So you cannot let this guy go up and down the floor constantly all game. And it's even more vital that you try to find a way to stop this guy, because now he has a running mate in VJ Edgecombe that is absolutely going to fly up and down the floor as well. So this is crucial, that you do not let these two guards just absolutely outrun you when the Bulls should be leading in pace. That is very, very important, okay? Also, do not turn it over. So similar kind of keys again, but try to find a way to limit your turnovers, man. This is going to be a very, very tough overall game for the Bulls, but I'm just hoping just to see that the focus and effort is there. That's all I'm asking for. Again, I'm not asking for a win here. I'm just asking that this team is going to be giving the effort that we were seeing in the first 5 games, okay? At least more so of like the good moments of the first 5 games, I should say. You know, there's definitely some bad moments in those first 5 games, and the Bulls still won, but I'm expecting just better effort than what we saw tonight. The 76ers squad, I think, is honestly no joke right now, because they're healthy. And even if Embiid does not play, they are still a very, very good squad. So I'm interested in seeing what will happen in this one. It's a good little test here for the Bulls, and we will see. So 7 p.m. Central Time at the United Center, 9:30 p.m. post-game stream on this channel. It's probably not going to be that long of a stream, just a heads up. And I'm going to apologize in advance just because of it. But I'm hoping to do, we'll see. I have some stuff that's going on right now in terms of like schoolwork and everything. So I might have to cut it short, but I will let you guys know the day of. But still, post-game stream here. So be ready if you want to come back in for post-game stream on this channel. So I sincerely do appreciate all of you, though, tuning in to this post-game stream. It's our first L of the season. Sorry, I hit my mic again. It's our first L of the season, but we still have people, hop in and, talk and everything. So I really do appreciate it. So thank you guys again for being just a great community. It truly does mean a lot, especially because this is the internet. So thank you guys a lot for just continue just to be respectful and continue just to make this a good community overall. So I sincerely do appreciate it. If you have not hit the like button on the stream, please do. Helps me out a lot. I sincerely do appreciate it. I'm going to catch up on all the chat messages before I leave here. If you're new to the channel like Bulls content, please subscribe. They mostly look flat without energy. Yeah, we're not. 76ers is going to be a whack matchup. Maxey and VJ sounds not too fun for the Bulls. It doesn't sound fun, especially if Io is out. I honestly don't know what the Bulls are going to be doing if Io is out for this game. I think we actually have to play Dalen Terry, and I don't want to. So it's going to be important. I think Io needs to be ready for this one. So if he hadn't missed tonight, all right. But I'm hoping that quad is doing okay. Yeah. Hope in some ways they play Joel, as he is so slow in transition. Yeah, I can kind of understand that, but Embiid has just killed us in his time. So I personally would not want to face Embiid, but I don't know. We'll see what they do, honestly. I feel like there's honestly an argument for the 76ers to play Embiid against us, and then they'll just take the L against Cleveland. But they've also had some good wins against teams that they just didn't have, they didn't have Embiid. So I don't really know what the plan is, honestly. Yeah, I appreciate everything, Charles. VJ Maxey makes me hope they start Io and Trey. I doubt they will. I think it's gonna be a Coro still. And so they're gonna put a Coro on one of them and then Trey on the other. So we'll see how that works out. Trey, as good as he is, I don't know how much he can do against those guys. But we will see. He can defend Kelly, Io, and VJ. I mean, yeah, I expect to see Io on VJ and Maxi throughout the game at some point. I just don't know when or how long. But again, he has to be available, so we will see if he will be. That's going to be a very important thing if he's available because, again, respect to Kevin Huerter for what he's done defensively. I just don't want Kevin Huerter trying to guard either of these. Been playing to start the season, and there's going to be a lot of film stuff for you to guys go look at and play in that article. So I took a lot of time to do this article. So it would truly, even though, again, it's late news and the stats are no longer it's not current, but it would still mean a lot if you could go and read this. So, yeah, I apologize in advance for it being late, but it's out of my control. Yeah, if you could go and read that, that would sincerely mean a lot. If you have not hit the like button on the stream, please go ahead and do so. It truly would mean a lot. Yeah, I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much again for a great stream. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Peace out. Please read the article. I sincerely appreciate it. Bye.